Yeah. It said, and he replied, it will. Okay, yeah, in context, exactly. It will be good only when we, the people, will be as serious about it as those who have signed it are.
Yeah, freedom is not a spectator sport. You better be involved 110% or you're going to be enslaved. Mark, I appreciate your call. Nathan in Florida, you're on the air.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's good to talk to you, sir. I'm assuming you've read David Rockefeller's book, Memoirs?
Yes, where he says, I am guilty of wanting to set up a world government to abridge U.S. sovereignty. He says that's what I'm accused of, and I say guilty as charged.
Absolutely. Since he has written this book, and I mean it's in his own words and everything, I'm wondering what can we do to possibly arrest him and try him for high treason.
Well, you've got to educate the public that what high treason is. Obama blocking Arizona and saying, I want the crime to continue, to hold people hostage, to pass global amnesty for the North American Union. That's an act of treason, and you've got to educate people about what treason is. I mean, the average person doesn't know that there's literally thousands of books, thousands of white papers written by every prominent globalist about how they're poisoning our water and our food and setting up world government and chemtrailing the skies, and it's all admitted. I mean, I have thousands, no exaggeration, thousands of documents admitting they're chemtrailing, poisoning the food, GMOing. I mean, I am wallowing in evidence. And I'm just here trying to present it to people and saying, hey, instead of knowing all about LeBron James, who has the chosen one tattooed on his back and likens himself to King James, of the King James Version, he's some type of god or demigod, how about we become informed about how there's total tyranny unfolding?
Well, you know, I'm no lawyer, so I'm just wondering, is there any way to get the cops involved and actually arrest this guy and start a trial?
Well, that's something grand juries could do. I mean, you've got somebody who's in control of much of the government who engineered the banking collapse saying he wants to destroy America. And so, again, I'm here nailing it to the church door, nailing the facts up. We'll be right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now into the second hour, 8 minutes in here. I'm going to be breaking down the economy more at the bottom of the hour. I'm also going to get into Fidel Castro is now saying that he thinks World War III is about to begin. I'm going to go over some of his quotes there. An Iraq inquiry says the government intentionally and substantively exaggerated WMD threat. We already know that, but it's amazing to see the British government admit it. Breaking news: due to public outcry, Coast Guard rescinds ban on reporters and photographers from oil spill. They threatened 2 weeks ago to charge you with federal felonies if you tried to photograph or videotape anything going on either in the Gulf or on the beach. But that's totally unconstitutional. The tyrants have now at least backed off on the surface. The arrest and intimidation are continuing. So we'll be discussing some of that coming up. And all over the United States, very ominous developments as CNN and others report that the United States has lost its AAA rating as a nation. So has Europe to the communist Chinese. People say, well, then who cares? Well, they're our biggest creditor. They buy this worthless paper. And now from California to Iowa and many other areas, they are reporting that police will not respond to normal crime. And so we're going to be going over some of that coming up as well. But right now, we're going to go ahead and talk to Nathan in Texas. Nathan, go ahead.
Hey, Alex. Great to talk to you again. I just wanted to make a suggestion. I've been befriending people all around the globe on Facebook, you know, seeing their posts, you know, posting things. They comment on mine, I comment on theirs. I think it's a good way to get involved, you know, to get everybody kind of to unite. So I think everybody should have 50 and 100 Facebook friends who are info warriors. And also, secondly, I just wanted to ask about this guy, Amiri, who is supposedly he was a missing Iranian nuclear scientist. Just your comment on that.
Well, they just said there's been a new development. 30 seconds before I walked in, I saw a Reuters article that Phil tried to tell me about. And so I don't have the latest on that, but we will cover that for you coming up as soon as I'm able to research it. What's your take, Nathan?
Oh, I just think, as far as that goes, I mean, I didn't know what to think of it. I saw that there was a few different videos that had come out saying that he was here studying, he was here, and they said he'd been kidnapped by the CIA and tortured and stuff, and now he's at the embassy in Washington. He's trying to get back to Iran. So I'm just wondering if, you know, maybe that's some kind of propaganda they're trying to spin to make it look like Iran has nuclear scientists over here, something the possibility of a, staged Iranian attack, to line up with all of what's going on with, us, getting ready for war with Iran.
Well, they did that in 2002 and 2003. They would claim that Iraqi defectors had told them one thing, and then later the defectors came out and said that they hadn't said that. And strangely enough, in Jordan and Iraq, they would then be hunted down and killed mysteriously by al-Qaeda. Why would al-Qaeda or al-Qaeda try to kill someone that is basically critical of the lies that took us to war? I appreciate your call, and I do have that article. Let me read part of it here on air and then give you my take on it. Here is the headline out of Reuters. Iran scientist turns up at Washington mission. A missing Iranian nuclear scientist dramatically turned up at an Iranian interest section of Pakistan's embassy in Washington and was quoted as saying he was kidnapped by the U.S. agents in a disgraceful act. But a U.S. official who declined to be named said that the scientist who vanished during a pilgrimage to Saudi Arabia more than a year ago had been visiting the United States and had decided to return to Iran of his own free will. Tehran has reportedly accused the CIA of abducting him, who worked for Iran's Atomic Energy Organization, but ABC News has reported he defected and was helping the agency. Washington denied he was spirited away for nuclear secrets. My kidnapping was a disgraceful act for America. I was under enormous psychological pressure and supervision of armed guards in the past 14 months. Amiri, who is in his 30s, was quoted as saying in a phone interview with Iran State TV. Iran is locked in a dispute with the United States and its allies over Tehran's nuclear development program that the West says is designed to produce nuclear weapons and which Iran officially says aims to generate power. And there's another development hot off the presses. Iranian scientists came freely to U.S. Officials now say. So was he really kidnapped, or is he trying to cover up his defection back to Iran? Who knows, my friends. But your point about how they're trying to hype up war with Iran is well taken. Here is Press TV, which is an English-speaking version of Iranian state television. It's basically like Al Jazeera is to Saudi Arabia. MP says sanctions, a declaration of war on Iran. By the way, Ron Paul agrees. I mean, if somebody came and blocked goods and services coming into the U.S. with warships and was grabbing U.S. bank accounts worldwide, that'd be an act of war. A senior Iranian lawmaker says the new round of anti-Iran UN Security Council sanctions is an open declaration of war against Iran by the six major powers. Speaking to the Fars news agency on Sunday, member of Iranian's Parliament's Foreign Policy and National Security Commission, Mohammad Karim Rad, said the administration of the U.S. president never truly after a nuclear fuel exchange with Iran. Yeah, they offered to give all their nuclear fuel to the UN to be enriched in Brazil or in Turkey or in France, so they'd 100% know it couldn't be used for weapons, and they said no 5 years ago before they put Ahmadinejad in. They were very soft, the opposite of hardline, and were letting inspectors in everywhere. And then the UN said you can't even have peaceful reactors. Now they're trying to put sanctions on to block fuel being imported. Because Iran has a lot of oil, but refineries are very expensive and very complex. They can only refine about half the fuel they need. So they want reactors for power. And their growing population. President Obama did not expect Iran to accept the exchange. It's 3.5% enriched uranium with 20% enriched batched outside of Iranian soil, he went on to say. But see, that's too complex for the average person to actually research and figure out. They're too busy knowing all of the trivia about Lindsay Lohan or Michael Jordan or any of these people. They're just too busy. They know all about Paris Hilton and her sex tape, but they know nothing about what's happened in Iran's history with the United States. And continuing, Iran-backed group-eyed attack on U.S. bases in Iraq, general says. So now we see our general saying that Iran, it wants to back attacks on U.S. troops in Iraq. Meanwhile, for 5 years, the White House admits, under Bush and now Obama, consecutively, it's congruent, that they have 4 different terror groups, 3 of them al-Qaeda-backed, attacking Iranian bases and military and police in Iran. And Iran has sued the U.S. at the UN over this and lays there and takes it. So our government launches terror attacks against them on a weekly basis. U.S. Special Forces have been there for at least 8 years. Arabic U.S. citizens who are special forces doing this, and it's all admitted. It's an act of war, but Iran puts up with it. The average good old boy doesn't know that. They think, them Iranian Arabers want to kill us. They're not Arabs, by the way. But here's another one. Iran's strike rumors are spinning out of control. A good boil-down article here where it links to all these mainstream news reports where Israel, the U.S., the UN, NATO are all talking about striking Iran and calling for strikes on Iran. So there, I've gone over basically the latest Middle East, Central Asia news for you. I meant to get to that later, but since you brought it up, I've gotten to it now.